I work in a school, and there are recruiters who come into the school. But more than that, there is the message from the administration that what we're doing in the school is helping students prepare themselves either for field work, to go on, continue their education, or the military. I mean, the military is clearly presented as probably the only option for community service to these students in a public way. What would be the best way to counteract that? I mean, one of the things would be is to come up with some sort of community service option that would be promoted. It's not just the recruiters who are promoting the military, it's actually the administration a lot of times. What do you do about that?
It's a tough one. And it's worth remembering that when we talk about the disproportionate amount of money that we spend in this country on the military, it doesn't only manifest itself in buying kind of multi-billion-dollar weapon systems. It manifests itself in the military being able to buy multi-million-dollar advertising contracts, sponsor everything from NASCAR to professional basketball. Those messages are hard to overcome, and they are very, very, very powerful. But I think it begins with where I started my comments, and the reason I wanted to specifically mention in talking about a 21st century peace movement, that we owe it to ourselves to remember that we had a 20th century peace movement. We need to remember that we need to hold up voices and talk about heroes of the peace movement, folks who were involved in trying to end wars, not just those who were involved in fighting them. We need to insist. There's a great little story. The Department of Defense gave itself $25 million to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War. And they announced they were going to have a multi-year program. They were going to come up with a curriculum for schools. They were going to have all these great big events. They were going to talk about it. And a couple of people who had been involved in that time period, folks like Tom Hayden and others, began to say, you know, we have a sneaking suspicion that when the military tells what happened in the Vietnam War and the history of the Vietnam War, they're probably going to leave some things out, like, you know, the anti-Vietnam War movement. And so they organized, and they got together, and they made sure that the New York Times and others got wind of what was going on and brought to light what was going on. They happened to also work out of an office, so I have a little bit of insight into this. They recently had a meeting with the Pentagon, where the Pentagon had to eat a little crow, kind of admit they got caught, and announced that they were going to incorporate the story of the anti-Vietnam War movement as well. They were going to bring in voices from the movement who fought the war, and they were going to do a whole different thing than they were planning to do. It can be done. We have to insist that that history be told. We have to insist that when we talk about heroes, when we talk about those who gave to their country, that we not insist that we don't talk about those who sacrificed in the military, but we not only talk about those, that we talk about the totality of how you give back to your country. That it is patriotic not only to fight a war, but to fight against a war. That it is heroism not only on the battlefield, but heroism when you help prevent there from being a battlefield. We can do that. We can make that happen. But if we simply sit back and bemoan the fact that it's not happening, it's never going to happen. But, you know, it is a challenge. We are going up against very high odds. But again, all the money in the world only gets you so much. You know, if having a lot of money solved problems, the Iraq War would have gone swimmingly well. At the end of the day, the thing that matters more than all of that money is what people think and what they believe. And if you organize, if you agitate, if you help create change, the great lyrics of the song, if you are the change you believe in, the change you've been waiting for, you really can make a difference.